Hi everyone, it is Betty from Mercury Crafts and I'm here to do a review on the Cricut holographic iron-on transfer that is in the color cobalt, which is this beautiful color right here. So, I have a love-hate relationship. So let me explain. When it works, it is beautiful. So this is what I used on my son's folder for school. And if you look, I can scratch on it. I can do almost anything. It's not going to come off. There's nothing for me to sit here and peel. It's not raising up for it to peel. Once it's on, it is on, and it is gorgeous. It is beautiful. So I bought this at Hobby Lobby. It was $12.99 for 12 by 24 inches. Okay, so here's where my issue came in. One, nowhere on here is there any instructions or anything on how to use this, which is fine, because iron-on is pretty much easy. However, this specific iron-on is thicker than most of their iron-ons. I've been using iron-ons for years, so it was no big deal. I was like, okay, I've got this, I'm gonna buy this, and it's no big deal. So here's the regular iron-on. Regular iron-on is very, very flexible. It's very moldable, super thin and able to move. This one is not. This one, if I go to bend it the exact same way, it folds, it starts to curve and everything. So that's not even the issue. The reason why I'm showing you that is to show you how much thicker this is than this. So this is not near as thick, and it's almost the exact same size piece that I have cut out. Okay, so this folds really simply. This, it doesn't do, I'm just trying to show you guys on camera how much thicker this is, and I know that that's really hard to do. So I was printing out my son's name, and when I was printing out his name, several different times I had to cut out his name. So the first one here, let me show you my Cricut. Flip my camera around right here. So on my Cricut, there are several different dials, of course. So you have your custom setting, you have your paper, your vinyl, your iron-on, light cardstock, fabrics, and poster board. So whenever I set it the first time, of course, I went right here to this point. That's where I cut all my vinyl. That's also where I cut all of my regular iron-on. So it didn't cut it. So I was like, okay, no big deal. So I went and I switched it up one. So I was like, because it looked like it was about to cut through, but it didn't. So I was like, okay, I'll just go to the next one. And I did it again, and it still didn't. So then I knocked it up one more, and I was like, okay, this is gonna cut it now because it's almost there. Still did not. So the next time, now that I remember, I had knocked it clear up to the middle of regular cardstock. So when I had put it clear up to the regular cardstock on there, it finally cut it the way it was supposed to. So when it went through and it cut it, I was like, okay, great, and that's how I was able to get this transfer. So I had already used probably 6 inches of the material, so that left me a little bit left. I mean, well, a lot of it left, but still. I had already used about 6 inches of it. So I went and I cut a design out for me, and I had left it on my regular vinyl transfer like I always do, and I totally forgot. So then I was like, okay, let me just raise it up to the highest one on the onto the iron-on, and it didn't work. So I had done it twice, and again it didn't work, and I'm frustrated because this is all I have left. I was making this design for a t-shirt for myself that was 9 by 8, and this is all I have left. So I can't even make another project because I ran out, and I spent $12.99 on this. So that's very expensive. I just essentially spent $12.99 to put my son's name on his folder for school, because now I've got this little bitty one that I might be able to use for something, but not much. It's frustrating at the fact that on this piece of paper there was absolutely no instructions, which you would think that they would have it written on the back. I've never even looked at this because I've never unrolled it, because I knew how to use regular iron-on. So I was like, oh, you know what? Maybe there's some instructions on here that I'm missing out on. Maybe it's all my fault. So again, I looked, and there's not any instructions on the inside. So then I started reading on the outside, maybe again thinking I missed something. And there's nothing here. It just says that the sheet is 12 by 24 sheet. It is colors may vary slightly, it says, and then you go over here and it just says, for tips, please click, or please visit helpcricut.com holographic iron-on. Now, I have used iron-on so many times in the past that I would have never even thought about going onto their website to look for anything that I needed, tricks or tips or anything like that. So again, I'm really just kind of disappointed at the fact that I spent $12 on this, and this is all that I have left, because it is so much thicker. And on my Cricut, I have the Cricut Air 2, and on my Cricut, I have the best tool that you can buy to cut it with. I just bought it when I bought this. I bought a new cutter, and I only buy the Cricut brand. I don't buy the off brand. I only buy the Cricut, and I only buy the high quality one for the vinyl and stuff that I am cutting out constantly. And so I am, again, very disappointed at the fact that I bought this and I was only essentially able to use it once. So I essentially wasted my money. And it's one of those things where it's partly my fault because I didn't remember that I had to set it up higher. But again, I feel like it's Cricut's fault for not having a thing on here saying, hey, look, you guys are going to have to raise your dial a little bit. You're going to have to put it on a higher setting. So I really feel like Cricut dropped the ball on that. And I think that they should have that on every one of their vinyls, or anything, actually. Now that I'm thinking about it, there should be something on here that says use this setting. There really should be. Because if you're using it on a Cricut, plain and simple, it should say on there, if you're using this on a Cricut machine, if you're using the Air 2, set your dial to blah, blah, blah. If you're using the Air 1, set your dial to blah, blah, blah. If you're using, you know, whatever. They know what products they have out there. They know what products are there. It does not take that much longer, or that, I mean, they've got a lot of dead space here, plenty of room to put something here or here. There's lots of dead space and tons of dead space on the back. But if they didn't want to have to double print, then they could put it right here. There is tons of things that they could put in right there. So that is my review. When it works amazingly. When you get it to cut, it's just getting it to cut and not wasting it, because you're having to figure out what the adjustment is. So again, I love it. I think it's amazing. I think it's gorgeous. However, I am frustrated at the fact that I had to waste so much of my material to be able to figure out how to cut this vinyl. Yes, I probably could have gone on to their website. I didn't even think about it until after I had already done this. So that's partly my bad. But at the same time, I really feel like Cricut could add more. They don't even have instructions on how to use it at all. None. And I'm really surprised now that I've looked at that there's no instructions. So anyway, you guys, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, please post below. Please hit that like button and that subscribe button. Keep getting updates from me. I'll talk to you guys soon. Love y'all. Bye. Peace. Bye, y'all.